you click the go to the results category and just see what it is. But if you're just looking for a general, all-purpose, awesome starter pack that you can use long term, then this is exactly what I'd recommend. So the 3 herbal blends I really recommend you start with are Strength, Rejuvenate, and Serenity, right? Now there are many other blends and there are many other individual herbs, but these 3 I found to be the absolute best. So why is that? And actually, first of all, let me answer the question, why in our most simple starter pack am I putting blends rather than individual herbs, right? You may have heard about reishi and how awesome it is for you, or ginseng or goji or whatever, and you may be thinking, okay, well, why are you talking about blends? Well, the reason why blends are a great starting place is because the herbs work together synergistically towards a particular purpose, right? And they are greater than the sum of their parts. So in the case of strength, strength builds 2 particular energies. It builds qi, right? And it builds yang jing, right? And if you have no idea what those terms mean, I totally understand. I highly recommend you go to the Lionheart Herbs blog and check out the free treasures category where you'll get a description of that. And even better, make sure you sign up as a subscriber, and I'm going to send you an awesome collection of free trainings all about that, so you'll be an expert in that by the end of it. But for now, just suffice it to say that qi is your basic energy and it's what gives you an immediate boost. And yang jing is an immediate boost of your reserve energy, so your sexual energy, your mental energy, your endurance, your drive. And so the combination of 2 is really awesome together, and it's also the reason why I would suggest strength to be an excellent blend to start your day with. So in terms of timing, again, it's really up to you, but the suggestion is to have it in the morning, right? First thing in the morning, or maybe after your first meal. That's quite often when I like to have it. So what's next? Next we have Rejuvenate, and Rejuvenate is by far my most popular blend. For literally years and years now, it's consistently been my #1 seller for one very simple reason. It's awesome and it works, right? And so Rejuvenate, as the name suggests, is all about replenishing you, right? Giving you a boost in endurance, helping you to overcome fatigue, whether that's mental fatigue, whether that's literally working too hard fatigue, whether that's even emotional fatigue, right? It's really good at that. It's also really good at more proactively keeping you feeling youthful, keeping you feeling happy and alive and radiant for longer, right? So it's also the premier longevity herbal blend. And what it basically does is build up a type of energy called yin jing, right? This also relates to our ability to recover, our ability to heal, our ability to replenish ourselves. So if you're pushing yourself very hard during the day, especially if you feel a lot of stress, if you feel a lot of overwhelm, that's a really awesome thing to have. And for that reason, I recommend having that at some point in the middle of the day, right? Could be early, could even be before lunch, could be later in the afternoon or even early evening. Could be right at the end of the day. So really that's one you can have at any time, but just because I find strength is quite stimulating, so we wouldn't probably want to have that at night. And Serenity is quite relaxing, so we probably wouldn't want to have that in the morning. So for that reason, I just think that Rejuvenate fits in perfectly at some point in the middle of the day, which then brings us to Serenity, which is building the treasure called Shen, right? And whereas Qi is our everyday energy, and the 2 types of Jing are our adaptive energy or reserve energy, Shen is what I call our harmonic energy, right? So this is great to get us to calm down, to wind down at the end of the day. If you have the kind of head that just keeps going and going and going, and you find it kind of hard to get it to relax and shut down, especially go to sleep, then Serenity is really great for that as well. It's really great for the heart, especially. A lot of the herbs in Serenity are for the heart. So it's good for, especially if you've been busy and you've been really up against it, it's very easy to get kind of tunnel vision, right? Just focus, focus, focus. And so the Serenity blend is very good for expanding your focus, right? And becoming more connected to the world around you. So it's to feel more relaxed and to feel more connected. And for that reason, I would say the best time to have it is PM, right? Some point in the evening. So that's a really simple formula. Have this in the morning, this during the day, and this in the evening. Now, How do you prepare it? Very simple. The easiest way is to prepare it as a tea. In fact, as you would do instant coffee. Even if you've not had that, I'm sure you're familiar how it works, right? Put a teaspoon of the instant powder in a cup, add some hot water, add some sweetener if you like. I quite like to use stevia, and drink it, right? That's all there is to it. Now you can do anything else with it. You can add it to smoothies, you can add it to juice, you can add it to cold water, you can add it to food. You can do whatever you like, but that kind of way of adding hot water and drinking it like a cup of tea is the traditional way, and I think one of the most effective. Another question I get asked quite often is, can I just mix them together if I'm in a rush or if I can't get around to having 3 different types in a day? And the answer to that is yes, but they'll be slightly less effective. Not a huge amount, but slightly less. All the herbs you see in each particular blend are kind of moved together for a particular purpose. They work on a particular organ system or a particular meridian. And so if you combine them, they'll still work, but they'll just be a little bit more spread out and therefore a little bit less effective, a little bit dissipated compared to if you do a focused burst 3 times throughout the day. Now, these 3 are an excellent starting place, and they are the 3 blends that make up the gold starter pack. However, for those who are really committed and really into this kind of thing, we do also have the platinum starter pack available. And the platinum pack is really an opportunity to also try some of the single herbs together with the blends and really get the very best possible experience with starting with tonic herbs, right? So as well as trying the blends together, you'll be able to get to know and get to experience the effects of having the individual herbs, right? So the first one on the list is deer antler, which is truly extraordinary. Now, I'm not going to give detailed expositions of each of these single herbs because I've already done so, right? So if you want to find out a lot about these, just go to any of the, just follow the link to herbs at the top and click on whatever you want to find out about, right? Deer antler, astragalus, and that'll be there for you. So in this video, I'm just going to show you how it fits in, right? So deer antler is primarily a yang jing herb, right? And even though it's got some other yin jing qualities as well, it's primarily a yang jing herb. So that is really an awesome one to have to start the day again. And what I quite often do as well, if I'm not having a strength blend, just to mix things up, I'll often have deer antler with a chi herb, and I quite often go for astragalus, which is the next one. So that's a chi herb. And I don't know if it's necessarily better or worse than strength, it's just a different way of doing it if you want to have just a few herbs rather than a complete formula. And what you can do is you can either kind of alternate, you can have those 2 together instead, you can have it as well, or you can actually combine them, right? So the extra deer antler and astragalus added to your cup of strength will just give it an extra boost, right? So really up to you what you want to do with those. Then I would also really highly recommend pine pollen, which is why it's in there, and that is a jing herb, okay? It's really both a yin and a yang jing herb. It has those kind of potent hormonal properties. It's androgenic, which make it definitely a yang jing herb, but it also has the adaptogenic properties of helping you to overcome stress and increasing endurance and adaptivity, so it's also yin jing. So pine pollens are really awesome. Now the really interesting thing about all these 3 is that not only can you have them as tea and you can add them to the blends as I described, but you can also just pretty much eat them, right? Like especially astragalus and pine pollen actually taste pretty good, and you can easily add them to a superfood smoothie, for instance, or a fruit juice or something like that, and they'll just enhance it. So that's really awesome. Deer antler, I'd say, kind of the taste varies depending on the batch because, you know, that's how it is with natural products. But I would say it works quite well as a morning drink. So it has maybe a slightly coffee-like flavour, maybe similar to reishi. Then we have schizadra, and schizadra is definitely a yin jing herb. Schizadra is really my favourite herb in the world. It's the most powerful. It's unique in Chinese medicine out of 5,000 herbs in that it enters all 5 organ systems and all 12 meridians. Really awesome herb. Really, it's already in rejuvenate to some degree, but if you really want to supercharge your rejuvenate, just add some schizandra to it, right? Schizandra, unlike those 3 herbs, does normally have a very potent taste, and so be careful when mixing it to things like, when adding it or mixing it with things like juices or smoothies, because it can well override all the other tastes, but it is excellent as a tea. And if you find the taste a little strong, if you add a bit of lemon juice, a little bit of sweetener like stevia, just delicious like that. And then lastly, we have reishi, right, which is the supreme spiritual herb, the king of all herbs and the king of all mushrooms. And so I would recommend having reishi, again, either on its own in the evening or in combination with serenity. Either way works really well. So again, reishi is a shen herb. Now, bear in mind, you can just experiment with all these. They are all harmless as food, and so there's absolutely no reason why you can't play with them. You can't test what I'm saying. You know, you can try having serenity in the morning. You can try having strength in the evening, although be a little bit careful with that one because things like strength, deer antler, to some degree astragalus really are quite stimulating. So we want to make sure not to have that. It's very important to have an early night, even if you are experimenting. But yeah, experiment, have fun, and really learn to love and enjoy these tonic herbs because they are so awesome. So that's the platinum pack, everything in the gold pack, plus everything else here. If you want to try it, all you got to do is click the add to cart button, which you'll see somewhere, probably above. And yeah, I'll ship it to you very soon and try it. And of course, as always, let me know what you think.